Welcome back to Wondered Bliss. My name is Kevin. I'm an artist, a poet, and a person who has struggled in the realm of love and relationships for most of my life. This is not to say that I've been unloving or unkind, but just terribly uncommitted and absolutely terrified of trust, or rather of being vulnerable and allowing myself to be in a situation where trusting a person is required. Because there you can get hurt. There is scary. And I have tried it. I'm even now in the midst of trying it again with someone new. But it still sparks a lot of fear in me. God, it definitely does. Because every other time it's backfired on me, or blown up in my face in one way or another. But if I'm forced to tell the truth, much of that has been my fault. Or at least I played a role in every failure, every attempt. Because even though I'd go and put myself out there, a part of me would always hold myself back from it. Or keep the other person just at arm's reach, convinced from the beginning that it would end. And one thing that I promise you, and this is a promise, that if that idea is always swimming inside of your head that things will end, that is the result that you will get. Because you'll make sure of it. You'll let your fears take control and cloud your judgment, and then you'll probably overreact to situations and respond impulsively. I've done it plenty of times. Something triggers you and you fly off the handle, and out of fear, you reject it all so that they can't hurt you, or they can't hurt you further. And if someone is out there doing things that are wronging you, you should end it. I'm not saying that every relationship is perfect and deserving of your time. But being impulsively, being rash, and operating out of fear, that won't get you anywhere good. It just won't. But let me read this next poem here in my book, What Struggle Brings. I'm going to talk about it a little bit further. I'll read it to you now. It's called Hard to Love. After all, we're all human, right? Babbling on, lashing out, causing fights, destroying what we love as if it's just to prove a point. Then everything unfolds. We're forced to live our separate lives, but we're guarded by our pride because it helps us sleep at night. It's helping keep me stable because I know this isn't right and I just want to rewind. Go back but keep the time. But I can't just let my mind keep on running. I'm shutting down. I never thought that I would be me. I guess I'm owning up to it. I've got a couple problems. I admit that I can't quit this. I'm haunted by my past, by my decisions. It's really got me thinking. Like I could do better, stay more committed, but the truth is, I'm a victim to my urges. I'm caught up by her flirting. These vixens, they really work me. Is it worth it? These thoughts have felt zyretic, and they're cutting to the core. I really think I got the message yet. Not much of me has really changed. But writing all this down has zapped some peace inside my brain. I'm chilling. And again, that's called Hard to Love, from my book, What Struggle Brings, by me, Kevin Faulkner. And it's available on Amazon if you'd like a copy. Or if you go to my website, wonderedbliss.com, you'll find a link there. Go check it out. But that poem there, I wrote it, probably 5-6 years ago now. And it doesn't really resonate with my soul or spirit anymore. But it absolutely did then. It absolutely did then. And it's a bit of a doozy, and rightly, I have a bit of explaining to do. Because deep in my soul, I've always been a hopeless romantic. But love has also been one of the sources of my deepest wounds. So I've run from it just as much as I've been pulled to it. And isn't that a bitch? Being terrified of what you want the most. And for a long time, many years, I let that fear take control. I denied that longing in my heart, the one that every single person has. We're built to love. All of us are. But it's scary. You can get hurt if you put yourself out there. So instead, I chased after pleasure. I became fairly hedonistic. I partied hard and wanted a life absent of responsibility. I tried to fill my days with every pleasure imaginable. Because, it felt safe. The consistency of a high or a quick rush. You know what you're getting yourself into. Every time you're just participating in life in this way. Just the pleasure-seeking way. You don't really know what all is there. The long-term relationship and every bit of that will require. Because it will take a lot from you. It absolutely does. And frankly, by comparison to many people out there, Even at my worst, I was fairly tame. But to the standards of my religious upbringing that I had, I was a fucking madman. And in truth, not just compared to an uberly religious person, I was being destructive. I was drinking, I was smoking, I was running around. What I was doing to myself, to my own soul and spirit, was not good. And it really doesn't take as much as you'd think to stain your heart and soil your soul. I was a fucking mess. I really was. And the funny thing is, it never satisfied me either. You'd think chasing after pleasure, chasing after highs, you'd feel good all the time, but no, I never felt happy or content. I just needed more endlessly, just to try to hit baseline, just to try to fucking keep a smile on my face. But what can you really expect from a life absent of purpose or meaning? It's a vapid and empty thing. And I was wildly atheist at the time. I had plenty of good reasons for it. Everyone always has a testimony of either love or pain, riddled with questions and answers, but because you can find evidence for anything if you look hard enough. And at that time, I found every reason to not give a shit, and I acted accordingly. It just often came at the price of even more pain. Just different pain than exactly what I was running from. But I hurt nonetheless. And I hurt other people too along the way. And I never wanted to. It was never my intention. I was chasing pleasure. God, you'd think that, that life will be good. Happiness will be there. I feel it at least in the moments, right? But surely, I've broken just as many hearts as have broken mine. And I was wanting to have fun. Wanting to escape the stresses of reality, but it's the truth when you're dealing with sex, affection, and the neurochemicals of attraction and attachment. Someone's heartstrings are going to get pulled. Someone always pays the piper when the pipe gets played. But heartbreak sucks. God, it really is one of the worst feelings you can have. And I've hated seeing women cry. And even the times that I successfully kept my heart guarded and detached, something never felt right. Something deep inside my chest knew it was wrong, knowing that I let another person down when their phone never rang. No one is built for a life without deep connection. And the guilt that you will feel from this is evidence for that. If you're running around and you haven't felt it yet, you'll probably tell me to fuck off. I would have too. But the chickens will come to roost. They always do. We're built for more than that. We're built for deep human connection. And running around being a dog, it is not going to get you there. It is going to keep you from what actually matters the most to you. To your neurochemistry. You can't fight it. You can't. But don't get confused. There are just as many women out here who are dogs too, running around just the same. And we'll do this shit to each other, back and forth. And then we wonder why nobody trusts each other. It's pretty obvious if you think about it. But I've played both sides and neither is glamorous. And eventually, I just got so fucking tired of it. And I felt so lost. And I stepped away from dating entirely. For a good while. But I was still terrified of really doing anything meaningful. So I just damn near smoked myself to death and was wildly depressed. But honestly, I thank God for it now. Because that little bit of distance that I got brought quite a bit of clarity. Whereas if I stayed caught in the same cycle, hypnotized by the drug of it all, it'd just leave me hopelessly ensnared in the downward spiral. But what was really going on with me? What led me there? Nobody just wakes up one day and decides to ruin their life. I've talked about it a few times on this podcast already, and I'll talk about it more because it explains a lot. And it's something that a lot of people are dealing with right now. And I was raised on a pretty shaky foundation. My parents got divorced when I was about 15. They had been separated for years before, and they had been fighting since the beginning. And it was not always pretty. I'll tell you that. So I was pretty skeptical of love from the jump. I didn't really have a good perception of what it meant to be in a relationship, to be committed to somebody, what to expect from someone who's supposed to love you. And this type of thing, so many people are out there, the divorce rate's like 50-something%. So at least half of the fucking population is dealing with this in some way, and it affects everyone differently. Some people, it'll make them bunker down and devote themselves to being loving even more, but in my case, it shook me. It shook me pretty fucking good. But, you know, being the hopeless romantic that is ingrained in each and every one of our hearts, I still tried it. But my first serious relationship, God, with all of my unhealed wounds, her unhealed wounds from her family, we were a mess together. We were volatile as fuck. I think we broke up 9 or 10 times, but we were just absolutely obsessed with each other. And it reminded me so much of my parents' dynamic. And when it ended, and it ended poorly too, all of my doubts of fear and love that I had just got set in stone as truth. And I said, fuck it all. Which then led me down the path of short flings and running around being a hedonist like I talked about earlier. But there was no sense of stability there either. So I was just sitting there with nothing to pull from, nothing to learn differently or to trust. I just felt hopeless because I was terrified of actually giving love a true go, to actually see what it would be like if I put all of myself in. I was terrified of it, so I didn't have any experience with it, and I didn't have anything to believe in. It just seemed like everyone was liars and snakes, me included, and that love was just a fantasy. I really believed this. I had convinced myself that love wasn't actually real. It was just lust, danced up or dolled up to seem pretty, to, I don't know, sell rings, sell a dream, sell an idea. But it was just lust, right? That's how it looked. That's how it appeared. I mean, frankly, there's evidence for it everywhere. If you look at that divorce rate, if you look at every movie, song, piece of pop culture that's coming out today, it doesn't seem like anyone should be trusted. It seems like it's all about lust. Hell, I mean, what is it, 40% of the internet is porn? Every dating app is filled to the brim with unsatisfied, cheating husbands and wives. It looks like people are led by lust alone, their base desire and nothing else, like it's sex first and love maybe. And that does not inspire a lot of faith. It really doesn't. And you don't have to look very far in order to get these ideas. So the thought of settling down seemed stupid. It seemed like I'd just be putting myself in a vulnerable position, asking to be hurt, because if this is the true motivating force of people, and it's just going to get messy later, why would I do it? I was terrified of being hurt, and frankly, even more terrified that I would commit, I'd try, and then I'd end up tearing my family apart and just perpetuating this cycle of generational trauma in my kids, knowing that their dad was a piece of shit who couldn't control himself. Because I didn't trust myself. I was in no better control of my desires than any other person. Just another cog in the dysfunctional machine called society. And I've been getting better. I'm still not 100% in control of all of my thoughts, all of my desires, but I've been changing a lot. I've been switching up all my habits. I don't drink anymore. I don't smoke anymore. I don't go run around. I don't. And I still have all my memories. Doesn't mean that I don't have attraction for people all the time, but I've just been training myself not to act so quickly, to think before I move. Is it something worth my time? Because with time, I've realized that I have healed. I've let a lot of this shit go. And at the time, I was just in pain. And I was entirely motivated by fear. It was the lens that I was viewing everyone and everything through. And you really do. You find what you expect, or what you're looking for. What do they call it? It's the reticulative activating system in the brain. Like what you're looking for, you will find more and more evidence for it. And if you're all the time motivated by fear, you'll find more reasons to be fearful. And in my case, I was motivated by fear and I was looking for a quick fix. I was looking for the escape from this reality without any real belief in love. And I just found more of the same dysfunction. And I really think that everybody out here running around, playing the field, doing all this is likely in a similar place. Just walking around every day in pain, terrified of being hurt and abandoned. So they'll keep everybody at a safe emotional distance while contending and fighting with this innate human longing for love and affection. So they'll still go play the field. They'll still engage in short flings. So they'll get a touch of it. They just won't commit. And it explains a lot. If you look at the divorce rate, if you look at just how much evidence there is there for relational trauma, Look at every social media app. You'll find people bitching about it every day. It's everywhere. Everyone's in pain. It explains a ton of this. But it doesn't excuse bad behavior. No amount of hurt or turmoil in your life justifies poor decisions or can turn a bad thing good. All feeding into this game will just continue this dysfunctional relationship that we have with each other, perpetuate this cycle even further. And you'll extend your pain onto others, just like I had been doing. And it just makes things worse, because hurt people hurt people. They really do. Up until the point that the cycle changes. Now, what I didn't understand, one of the things that kept me real locked in this negative mind frame, was that I just didn't understand the necessity of all of this mess. I didn't appreciate the importance of contrast in my life. I just cursed God for all of my misfortunes without seeing any blessing in it. But it's true. It really is true. If there was not the opportunity for heartbreak, love wouldn't actually matter. And it wouldn't be so rewarding when it sticks around. If you never had the chance to be hurt, you would never understand the importance of treating other people well. It's just part of the process. But, a shit ton of us are just getting stuck and remaining latched to the pain, terrified of being hurt again, that we don't allow ourselves to learn from these experiences and move forward in a positive direction, which in turn makes us bitter as fuck and keeps our expectations pointed towards the negative. And this is where God comes into play, and having maybe a healthy relationship with God is important, trusting that it's working in your life for your highest good. And the discussion of what God is exactly is for another day, a different episode, and it's not terribly important to the conversation. Call it God, call it the universe, whatever feels most comfortable. I don't think it really matters that much. As long as you understand that the highest organizing force of life is always working and fueling new events and experiences, and that it's working for your highest good. I denied that for a long time because of pain. I was mad at God because, why would you put me through these situations that fucking suck? And without giving any credit to my freedom of choice and how I continued to perpetuate this cycle inside of my life, I'd curse God even more every time it hurt. And that's just not fair. But it's a truth I've had to accept, that God is a complicated and infinite thing, and how it tends to operate is not always comfortable. But it is for your highest good. It's just that oftentimes pain is the best teacher, and definitely the greatest motivator. If it didn't hurt, why would you want to do anything differently? If it wasn't uncomfortable, why would you ever want to change anything about yourself, your life, your situation? Why would you want to? You wouldn't. You'd just stay in the same place. But, if you take the experience and you learn from it, then you end up getting where you need to go. At the end of the day, the pain was your greatest blessing. Because it taught you something. It got you somewhere. And as I've been learning to accept this, it's helped me drop a lot of this bitterness and hurt that I've had. It's helped me kick a lot of bad habits that I was latching to. And I'm still working through some of it. I've still got plenty of questions for and about God, but when you can trust that every step that you're taking is leading you somewhere, you don't really have to be afraid. You just don't. Because maybe this next step might hurt me. Maybe there might be something around this next corner that could be a threat, could be something, could be uncomfortable. But if it's on the path to, call it your destiny or wherever the hell you're supposed to go, to your highest good, then it's all worth doing. And I don't think life is always about being comfortable and having everything that you want. It's just about learning and growing and developing as a soul, as a person. So, what really is your highest good? It's hard to say. All I really know is at the end of your life, you lived a life and learned what you learned, and then you see what happens after, and you figure it out. But I have seen just throughout my life, even the things that have hurt me the worst, they've changed me. They've molded me. They've matured me. They've altered my perceptions. And ultimately, I believe that I've been better for it. So, if that has been the case throughout my life, why wouldn't it be the case in the future? Why wouldn't it? And this has been something, like I said at the beginning, I'm in a new relationship. We've been going pretty well for a while. But it does still kind of terrify me. The potential for being hurt is still there. It is. Even though she's lovely and we get along pretty well, and I can see a good future with her, the chance is always there that something could go wrong. But as I've been accepting this and trusting God first, it's been allowing me to trust her more. I don't have to keep these walls up out of fear, because I know well that if in the end things fall apart between us or it pivots in some unforeseen way, that ultimately is for a reason, and it'll have me better prepared for whatever else is to come in life. Or there's going to be moments that may come between us for a little bit, but if it helps us break down walls in each other and then we can end up being closer and more committed to each other in the end, it's all worth it. And that's one of the keys about not acting impulsively. Sometimes certain things happen that can create a rift, create a moment of discomfort between two people. But it doesn't always mean things need to end. It could be a turning point in a positive way in your love life, in your relationship. It really can. And it can prepare both of you for what is to come in the future for the two. And this is huge. No, it's not always perfect. And it doesn't mean that you should just walk blindly and let people treat you however they want, however they choose. No. You should have standards. You should have limits. They should respect you and you should respect them. It's the only way that it works. But if you can relinquish a bit of this fear, and you can be a little bit more trusting, it'll allow you to enjoy the love when it's there, even if it ends. And it's worth everything. It really is. Love is fucking fantastic. And it's so much better than living a life running from it, unfulfilled in every way, always keeping people at arm's reach. There's nothing to benefit there. Love is worth everything. It is. But if you're always afraid and you're always pushing people away who want to love you, you will never know its value. You may not understand it. I didn't understand it. I was terrified of it. It was my greatest fear. But as I've let it in, it just makes me wonder why I held back for so long. But I was self-sabotaging every step of the way. And we deserve better than that. Everybody deserves better than that. But you have to be open to it. And you have to be willing to jump all in. That's one of the biggest things. Like I said in the beginning, even the times that I had tried, and I opened myself up, but I was stutter stepping and keeping people at bay, not jumping all in. It creates rifts in your relationships and sets it up to fail. It does. I have this good analogy that's popping into my mind about jumping off of a ledge onto another. If it's a fairly good distance, if you jump and you give it your all, you'll make it to the other side. But if you stutter step and you hesitate right before you leap, you'll probably fall. I don't know what's down there in the crater of the abyss. But if what you want is on the other side, and in this case is a loving relationship, a fulfilled life, a committed world, you have to leap. You cannot hold yourself back. Because if you do, you're setting it up to fail. And that's not the right thing to do to your partner. Is that what you would want from your partner? Them to always be hesitant? Be holding themselves back from you? No. So why would you do it to them? It's not fair. It's not fair. And it really is the best thing in life for everybody. To find someone, to commit to them, to grow with them, to know that person better than any other person that you know. It's a beautiful thing, and it's worth it all. I wholeheartedly believe this now. It's taken a while, but it is. So, it's worth it to face your fears. It's worth it to put your heart on your sleeve and go in love with everything in you. You benefit in every way. That's a promise. And you'll probably get hurt again in the process, and that's okay. The risk is always there. But if you appreciate it and you learn from it, without closing your heart off to it, eventually you'll get everything you're looking for. But, all right. That's my 2 cents for the day on this topic. I'm still learning, I'm still growing just the same. But the more that you do it, the better it gets. And just the more wonder you can explore throughout the entire process. But thank you for being here and listening all the way through. You can go check out my book, What Struggle Brings, and my website, wonderedbliss.com. You can get yourself some shirts and some other cool things. But most importantly, have a beautiful day. Peace.